Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the NJ1ST podcast. I have two guests joining me today. They are from Oakland, New Jersey, running for town council as Republican candidates. That's over in Bergen County. And thank you so much, Carrie Sirenides and Jim Fulkerts, for joining the NJ1ST podcast.
Thanks for having us, Ryan.
Thank you. And we're going to go with good morning. And we're going to go with Jim to introduce yourselves. Tell us about your campaign. It's the local grassroots over there in Bergen County, and why you're running for Oakland Town Council.
Yes, Ryan. Yeah, thanks for the opportunity for providing us this platform to share our thoughts, our campaign, mission, etc. But just to start off, I've been an Oakland resident for 28 years. I've got two kids, two cats. Kids went through the local school system. I've done a lot of volunteering, as many people have in the town of Oakland. It's really a real esprit de corps as far as that is concerned. And I've been with I volunteered with the recreation program since my kids were old enough to get into it, or like through high school. I've been a volunteer with both the boy and a registered leader with both the boy and the Girl Scouts for both of my kids. I currently run a nonprofit entitled a 501c3 entitled the Sports Association of Oakland. And what that does is we kind of act as a bank and for the various sports teams in town that do fundraisers. They do can shakes, bake sales, all kinds of things. We also have a Games of Chance license that allows these groups on our behalf to run raffles to raise money. So we make sure everything is done according to accounting and tax regulations and all that stuff. And it takes the burden off all the volunteers, right? They can coach, do their thing. We kind of handle the money from that perspective as well. I also volunteer at my local church as a lector and assisting with a food pantry. I do some volunteering with Habitat, and I'm a current member of the Knights of Columbus and a former member of the Fathers Club of Oakland. I've retired last year, so that's I do have time now to conduct my volunteer activities. I had a 40-year career in information technology and cybersecurity. So now I'm doing other items that are much more rewarding, I should say.
Great. Awesome. And I did see that resume that you had, and right away it pops out that you're a part of your community and very active and doing that for so long. Over there in Oakland, is that how big of a population you guys got? Because I'm from small town. Just wondering.
I think it's about 12,000, Carrie, right?
Yeah.
In the overall town. Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
So
that's not too big and not too small. I like that.
Right.
And if we could go right over to Carrie Sirenides. Again, this is Oakland Town Council, Republican Bergen County candidates. And we would like to hear about Carrie.
Yeah. So I'm always, when I go second after Jim, I'm always like, oh man, that's a tough act to beat. But I have to remember he's retired. I'm not. So he can do a little bit more with his time.
Yes.
But my name is Carrie Sirenides. I'm running for Oakland Town Council. We're column 2. I've lived in Oakland for just about 16 years. I have 3 boys, all in the school systems here in Oakland. So I've done everything from volunteering with the Cub Scouts all the way up to my boys now do wrestling and football with the high school level. I'm also very active in my church. We started a committee here in town called Access for All. It's a committee run by the borough that just helps people with special needs and all access to all events in our town. I also run the Oakland newsletter, so that keeps me busy. It's a monthly newsletter that's run again by the town of Oakland, and we just pick special needs. So if there's a veteran in town, we'll do an interview on him, or any special topics we will do an interview on. I'll interview them and then write the article once a month. I love this town. So, I don't know later on if you're going to ask me why I'm running, but, one of the reasons why I'm running is I'm not a politician. I'm a mom and a wife, and I love this town. It's great to be a part, Ryan, like you said, of that small town feel. And I we're so close to the city, yet we're such a small, close-knit town that I want to see this town continue to be a great town.
Awesome. Thank you for introducing both yourselves. And probably the reason why people are still moving to New Jersey or stay here is because there are those close-knit communities that aren't so far away from civilization, and it's home, Thank you so much for introducing yourselves. And I did notice you guys are in a primary. You were asking for debates. I don't think that your opponents took those debates. I'm myself with a congressional primary. They're not taking debates. If you didn't know, Donald Trump and Joe Biden are debating. So that's just some good news I'm just putting out there before we go on.
Great.
And let's go right into our second topic that I had. I saw on your Instagram that you guys went and did public comment, just like myself during my Warren County freeholder days. But that's exactly the essence of an American. That's their First Amendment right to seek grievances, to seek answers, all the way down to the local level. And I saw you guys stand up because the powers that be, I guess, tried to shut down public comment. If you guys want to talk about that real quick, whoever wants to go first.
Sure. Well, this time I'll go first, if it's okay, Jim.
Right.
So Jim and I both feel very strongly that in order to be effective in any sort of town council or any sort of politics, you have to be open to the public. And one of the things with our town council is there was 2 public open sessions. There was one right in the beginning of town council, and then there was one at the end. So if you had any issues or any questions, even any comments, any good things that you wanted to say about what happened during the town council meeting, you can say it at the end. Having a public session in the beginning is great if you're coming in with questions, but then after they read the resolutions and after, they voted on things, you want to have it at the end so that you can comment on those things. And they currently, without telling anybody, without putting it to a vote, without even letting the public know that this may happen in the future, they just removed the second public open session. And to us, to Jim and I both, it was a huge concern. If you are running for a public office, you need to be transparent and you need to be open to the public and what they have to say. They're your constituents. They voted you in. So by removing that second session, we just felt like they were trying to almost hide things. And then the second thing they did, which I know Jim will talk about a little bit more too, was they stopped reading. They read the agenda and they read what the agenda is, but they don't go into what the agenda is. So if you're, just a constituent like me, you're going to a town council meeting, you want to look and see what items are going to be voted on. You have to go in advance. You have to try to navigate their website. You have to try and pull the agenda items, and you have to try and figure out what they're going to be voting on that night. It's very difficult. It's very difficult to navigate. And I know Jim, with his IT background, he says it all the time. It's very difficult to navigate. And, that's one of the things that we have, both Jim and I have been speaking out about, how, it's fine if you want to think about removing a session in the future because there's not a lot of attendance at the meetings. That would be okay. But you need to first tell your constituents you're thinking about doing that, giving it a little bit of time to say, okay, we're thinking about doing this. What do you think? Or saying, okay, we're going to do it on a trial, see if no one speaks. They didn't do any of that. They just removed it. And when we brought it up, it was, they don't talk at all. They don't answer your questions during town council meetings. It's very, have a nice day.
Yeah, and then I'd like to jump in here, Ryan, if I may. Carrie's right about their, taking away the right to, voice our concerns. And, it deprives the people a chance to speak about issues that currently happened in that meeting. But, to me, one of the motivations for me running, because when I retired last year, I did not plan on this. This was kind of something that grew over time and motivated me to get into politics. I've never run for public office before. But they're conveying an impression. They want to hear less from the public, not more. And to me, that's their, a huge part of their job. We know being town council, town government is tough. It's not easy to run. There's hard decisions you have to make. But, generally people are understanding if you're open and upfront about it. And they're giving, they're conveying the total opposite impression. Not only did they take away the second open session, when they read the resolutions that are passed each meeting, they just read the title. They don't go into details like previous councils did as well. And, that's a concern that they're not, being forthcoming. They also changed the date of the meeting. It was Wednesdays forever since I've been in this town. And they moved it to Tuesday. We didn't know about it until they published the town calendar and it came out, and all of a sudden it's on Tuesday. And I know it impacted one of the council committees that had their meetings on Tuesday. So they were forced on the fly to pick a new date to do that because they had no idea. And they ended up printing the town calendar. Funny thing, but an impact that trickles down. They had to tell them, okay, well, they'll pick a different day of the week. It happened to be a day this person told me that they cannot make it. So it's on the calendar, but they don't hold meetings that night. I don't know which night it is. But again, boils down to simple communication. Right, just letting folks know, hey, this is what we're thinking of doing, and again, providing the public a chance for feedback.
Yeah, we can make a whole NJ First episode about that, just because I as well have experienced what you guys have experienced, or even seen what you guys have seen, like how the politics works. I'm sure the reason why they removed public comment from your guys was because people were speaking out. People were actually getting up there and talking. But yeah, it is funny when they don't allow you to speak publicly unless it's on the agenda items. But places over, in my experience, is they don't allow you to speak unless it's on the agenda. But after the whole meeting's over, then they'll allow public for comment. Hopefully it's not enough. Now, if there's too many people that show up, public comment about a parental rights movement that they want their agenda, the meetings, the minutes, the agenda completely, like they don't even look at it. They don't read it, and they just pass it, and then they go to the public comment. Very interesting, but it's good and great and making me think that I shouldn't be interviewing congressional and state level officials. I should be interviewing the local level officials, people who are connected to their communities. And, it sounds like you guys are up for the task. That's what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
And one last thing, because we've been talking about the state Oprah reform bill that was going on. Some Democrats voted for it. Some Democrats didn't. Some Republicans voted for it. Some Republicans didn't. But have you? I've experienced Oprah bill. I've submitted my own Oprah request before to get information. Have you guys ever used that Oprah before?
Yes, I have. I've submitted it. I attend a lot of Board of Ed meetings. We've had a very contentious high school Board of Ed. We had a contentious election last year, and I've submitted a few Oprah requests, and just obviously our platform is running on transparency and being open to the public. So, by removing that right, that's a given right to get information is never a good thing. Did maybe the Oprah process need tweaking? Probably. But to remove it and to make it so difficult that nobody can do it, or even that you can be sued if they don't, like what you're Oprahing is, insane to me. So, I heard that 10 politicians stood strong and said no. I wish there were more, but, it did pass, and we're going to have to figure it out from here. But it doesn't seem like a good thing to me.
Right. And we'll see if Governor Murphy signs that bill. But Jim, go on.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to add that it's a backwards approach. I mean, the existing process definitely has issues, right? They should address those issues directly rather than kind of shutting it down, so to speak. And they really should strengthen the existing law to broaden, for one example, removing the exemptions that there is in the Oprah Act for politicians' communications, emails, texts, and things like that. They ought to change it so that could be included in Oprah requests. And, there's this existing technology they could probably use to improve things, just generally speaking. But they're just like, hey, if it's not working, let's just make it harder for people to, request records.
Transparency. I like it. I dig it very much. And we're going to move on to the next topic. And over here in Warren County, where I'm from, I've gotten active in my local politics. So inevitably, development comes up. There are a lot of farmland over here, a lot of lands for preservation. But I did see on your Instagram again, same thing kind of over in Bergen County. Again, this is Jim Folkerts and Carrie Serenides. Happy about, right? If you guys want to speak on that, actually, before I get into it, I'll describe a little bit more and let you guys talk. But over in Warren County, there's warehouses popping up everywhere. And people went to the county freeholders. Now they're called county commissioners and complained, and the county commissioner said, guys, you got to go to your local municipality. It's something called a master plan. And that's where everybody diverted their attention. So I guess that'll be in your ballpark, whatever a master plan is. I guess you guys are going to know what that is. If you guys want to talk about development over in Oakland, how's it going? Is it a worry for you?
Yeah, it's absolutely. Sorry, Jim, I didn't know if you wanted to take that one,
Go
but
ahead.
it's absolutely a worry. Anytime like we talked about the small town of Oakland, about 10 to 12,000, people live here. Anytime we're talking about huge development, we're talking about there's going to be a strain on our school systems. There's going to be a strain on our water. There's going to be a strain on, everything that trickles down. The development behind Indian Hills High School is sad. It's really sad. 28 to 29 acres of 100-year-old trees just demolished in a few days. Just everything just got removed. This is all something that the state is mandating under the Mount Laurel. So there isn't a whole lot that we can do about those mandates. However, the town decided to approve that project before the builder had its final permits. And our question is why? The builder stated that he needed to start the demolition prior to the bat mating season, because if the bat mating season starts, he has to wait several weeks. They have to wait several weeks until that season is over before they can start building. So my question is why would you ever agree to approve this prior to them having every single final permit in place? And even if it then makes the builder, hold off for a few weeks, that's okay. That's the builder's issue, not a town issue. So, there's just a lot of concerns about it. Did they have to demolition all the trees? Could they have saved some trees? From my knowledge, from my understanding, it is within 10 feet of the Indian Hills football track field, which needed special permits in order to do that because it's very close. There is no buffer between the buildings, the demolition, and the field, the track and football field. I went to a planning board meeting just recently when this was all taking place. And I said, my concern as a mother of children in the high school is what are you putting up that's going to be a buffer between the development and the field? And their answer to me was trees. Well, okay, so you're going to demolish all the trees and then put trees up. It's backwards. I don't understand it. I don't understand why the town council just didn't look at things more, and possibly could have done something different.
And what are they building there? What are the development? What are they creating?
It's almost 200 units. It's 191 units of townhouses, right? 40 will be low income. About 150 will be 2 and 3 bedroom townhouses, condos. So
it's interesting. And before we have Jim speak on it, I do find these things interesting. Local politics is the only politics. What's that saying? All politics is local, right? I work in warehouses. That's where I make my income. So everybody doesn't want these warehouses. I don't want the warehouses on our beautiful land. but that's where I get my income. And then second, housing. I'm over in Warren County, very rural. There's no housing over here. If someone says that they're going to make affordable housing over here, I'd be interested in it, But at the same time, this is the task that is brought upon elected officials. And you guys are saying over in Oakland, New Jersey, as Republicans, you guys will make sure you dot every I and cross every T before anything happens. That's good to hear. Let's hear from Jim about the overdevelopment, anything you want to talk about?
I mean, yeah, Carrie did a really good job of pretty much covering everything. I mean, one additional concern with the development behind the high school is really the runoff, right? Now that you've got all that land that's now going to be converted to parking and houses and things like that, the concern of the runoff from stormwater, how that runs and affects our local streams and lakes, considering, some of the flooding that occurs, when there are storms. That's a big, issue as well. And again, just back to did they have to cut like every single tree down, right? It seemed like there were trees along the border that they possibly could have left or built around. That's the thing that concerns me in particular.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that, being over in Warren County, all these trees, it's their home in a sense. We share it. So, and just to put a cherry on what I was saying before, like if they're going to create housing, and also what Carrie was saying, it's like a trickle down thing. If they're going to create houses, who's going to move in those houses? I kind of would maybe want people from New Jersey first, just because that's the politics that I'm into. I'm into the America First stuff. So I have these questions when it comes up to development as well. And we're going to move on to the next one, unless anybody has anything else to say.
I just wanted to add too about the development that even though it was required due to the Mount Laurel, statutes, what they also did was they gave the builder a pilot program, which I'm sure you're familiar. Most people are familiar with pilot, but if you're not, it's payment in lieu of taxes. So that builder pays a certain amount of money upfront to the town, but then does not pay taxes for, I think it's like 25 years. It's a long time. So, we talked about it before about how our schools, 2 and 3 bedroom, townhouses, condos, apartments, you're going to expect people to come in with children. These aren't going to be single couples, single people that are going to be utilizing 2 and 3 bedroom apartments or townhouses. Right. So it's going to, be very taxing on our schools, yet they're not paying any taxes. And they won't be paying any taxes for over 20 years. So, when you think about it, it's just, for lack of a better word, it's silly. It's crazy, So I don't know why they did all these things. And that's me, that's what we would have, thought about doing a little bit differently.
And for NJ first, we're going to move on to the next topic, but I have to bring it up, right? Just because I watch all these documentaries and NJ First viewers, and please, if any of you want to correct me, but I think that's what Trump did to make his fortune. It was tax abatements. Again, he was creating housing all over New York, I believe, and Florida and all that. But it's interesting, there's got to be some good in it. There's got to be somewhere. I'm sure there is housing, but we're in different times than 30 years ago, 40 years ago. So it's different. Anyway, we'll move on. One of the last things before we have open discussion of anything you guys want to talk about, I would love to hear, since you guys are local candidates, what you can tell NJ First viewers, people who watch strictly in New Jersey, and for Republicans, more conservative. I necessarily don't call myself a conservative, independent, but the people who I surround myself with are definitely conservatives in America First. I would love for you to tell them what has been an experience or a learning curve for you as an individual now that you're running as a candidate for local office. If Jim, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. So the thing I've learned as we've done walking around to various neighborhoods in the town of Oakland are the disparate concerns that all the residents have, and they kind of seem to be those that based on where the folks live, right? So it might be I'll just first say taxes is everyone's concern, right? Carrie and I are concerned about the tax rate, and if the town, we're questioning if that the town's ability to manage our finances, property, and keep the tax rate like stable or at an appropriate level. Depending again where you live, there's been a lot of road work in our town this year. There's been due to some of the local utility companies doing work. It's been ongoing for months, well until from late last year. It's still ongoing now. That's a concern. The downtown about development. It really hasn't changed, and certainly in the time I've been here. So that's going close to 30 years. There's been some improvements, but not a whole lot. The walkability of the town is a concern of mine because I like to do a lot of walking in the town amongst the stores, et cetera. And obviously development, as we mentioned, and its impact on the town. So that was the thing that hit me the most, really, was just depending on what section of town or in particular concerns the folks might have. And especially also, the folks that live near the water sources too.
Yeah, it's funny how one part of your town changed with the times, and then one time or the other part of the town, the time has gone by, but things have stayed the same. Which is again the small town feel. Hackettstown, for instance, was way different when I was growing up there. Now it's completely different. But Carrie, I would love to hear. Let's see. The question was an experience or a learning curve for you as an individual now that you're running as a local candidate.
Yeah, I think Jim really, hit the nail on the head. Just that, while we've been walking around canvassing, talking to people, we've really listened to everybody's concerns, ideas, comments, whether they're good or they're bad. One of the things for me, and, again, I hate to be a negative Nelly, but one of the things here for me is just how politics can be so cruel. We've had rumors spread about us. We've had people, from, my own Republican Party. I'm a part of and a member of the Republican Party here in Oakland. My own, friends in the Republican Party have gone door to door to disparage us. So for me, I have kids that have to go to this school here and go to this town here. So to hear that, somebody's walking around, trying to spread rumors saying that we're, quote unquote, in bed with the Democrats or we're being funded by the Democrats, not only is, extremely sad to me, but it's also, hurtful, for my kids. And I don't think that the people are thinking things through enough. They're just, spewing things out of their mouth. And I think that they really need to think about their actions. So, to me, I understand that politics is, can sometimes be tough. I understand that you have to have a thick skin. That is fine. But it doesn't only affect the person running. It doesn't only affect me, it affects their family as well. So, if I can implore, anybody listening to just, please, if you have questions or comments about us, call us up. We're an open book. We're not running because, we love politics. We're running because we love this town. So if there's any questions, ask us. We've tried to do debates. We've tried to ask for, we had a meet and greet where people can come to our local Lenape diner, or as Jim says, Lenape. I don't know if it's Lenape or Lenape, but they were fabulous to let us come there and just let us use a room to just have anybody who wanted in town to come out and meet us and ask us, whether it's a difficult question, whether it's an easy question, whether it's a question I don't know. But I'll look it up and I'll get back to you. So that would be one thing I learned, that sometimes it's tough, but it's okay because it's worth it in the end.
Thank you so much for saying that, both of you. We're definitely in a culture war. That's why politics does seem so nasty like that. And I've been at the brunt of it and on the other side of it plenty times. And I don't want to be negative as well, but don't forget those people after June 4th, the primary. And if you win, they come back to you and think that they're all friends again after all they did against you. Just don't forget that. Maybe forgive, but don't forget, right? Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to take the last minutes. I think that was a good recording that we just did. I think we can finish up here. If you want to take the last couple of minutes to say anything you want, but also mention to the NJ First viewers, Oakland, New Jersey, Bergen County, what line you're in for the ballot, and where they can find your campaign and information about you guys.
Yeah, of course. We are, again, running for town council in Oakland, New Jersey. We are page 2, column 2. It's a new ballot this year. We were very happy to see the ballot. It seems like it's a little bit easier to understand, a little easier to go through. So we are column 2, page 2. We have a website. It's just www.carriegym2024.com. We have a Facebook page. We have an Instagram page. You can email us at info@carriegym2024.com or on our website, Facebook. We're easily accessible. Most people in this town know where I live, know where Jim lives. So, at any time, please reach out to us. We'd love to hear your comments and your concerns and any questions you have.
Thank you so much for coming on this free speech platform. Jim, any last words?
Really just, we represent ourselves as a vote for change. And our message to the public is a lot of people, social media is big on, hey, we don't like this, concerns, complaints, criticism about that. If you want change in town, because there's been several council members that have been on the council for multiple terms. If you're looking for change, we are your opportunity for that, to be a difference and to take the council in a different direction.
Excellent. Well, I don't know your opponents at all, but anybody who's watching the NJ First podcast, you saw these two here for a good 30 minutes. We had a discussion about the politics. Again, I implore you, go ask them something if you don't think that they're good candidates, or if you want to help them, or if you just want to get involved yourself. Sounds like they are patriots and leaders. Thank you so much for joining the NJ First podcast, Carrie Serenides and Jim Folkerts. Thank you so much, and we'll have you on again, hopefully.
Thank
you, Ryan. It was great talking to you and sharing our ideas.
Yes.
Likewise.